Hello, Dancing with the Stars fans. Season 28 is officially over, and Hannah Brown is our Mirror Ball champion, followed by runner-up Kel Mitchell, with Allie Brooke in third place, and Lauren Elena in fourth place. I'm Daniel Montgomery. I did not finish well this season on Dancing with the Stars. I broke my hand, so Sailor Brinkley Cook replaced me. I'm here with Joyce Eng, Jeffrey Kare, and Cordell Martin. So let's get right into it. Cordell, what did you think of the final results and that those rankings?
In terms of the final results, I mean, I wasn't too surprised that Hannah was the winner. I mean, it was evident by her fan support, as she was never in the bottom two throughout the season. I thought Kel definitely gave her a run for her money. He definitely, towards the last couple of weeks, definitely saw that increase in popularity amongst fans and viewers. Allie, I think just based on her fan support, the best she was going to do was third, and she was third. And Lauren, for me, was just a wild card. I just didn't know in terms of her country fan base, as well as the Bobby Bones supporters, where she would land. But in terms of the rankings, I'm not surprised how they.
What about you, Joyce?
Yeah, I think we pretty much called it last week when we were it was between Hannah and Kel, and Hannah probably had it since she was never in the bottom two, and that the best Allie could do was third, even with perfect scores, which is exactly what happened. And Lauren was just the weakest dancer of the four. And that freestyle wasn't that good. So, the results were not surprising, although for some reason Kare Ann is a surprise, probably because she's in the tank for Allie. But I think that went probably pretty much the way most people thought it would go. I was pretty pleased with how well Hannah danced. She actually performed, and her first dance. She's always been lyrical and really elegant, but that was, I felt that she really got into the character for that. So it was obviously an improvement from the first time she did it. But that freestyle, I was Len, I wasn't really expecting that out of her. And the first 30 seconds of that freestyle was better than I thought definitely Lauren's, but also Allie's, because Allie flopped on all of her lifts. No one brought up the fact that she basically fell off a lift and then Sasha had to mask it. No one brought that up, and she got a perfect score. And then Kare Ann points out a mistake that Hannah made and also gives her a 10, which is okay, fine. But yeah, Allie is perfect in their eyes and got a perfect score for botching two lifts.
Yeah, I love Allie, but especially that first lift, it looked
that
like
was
Sasha.
Yeah,
Sasha had to pick her up off the floor.
No one mentioned it, and she got a perfect score.
Yeah. What did you think about the results, Jeffrey?
Well, I might have to echo a lot of what's been said already. I mean, Lauren and Gleb ending up in fourth place, not really surprised by it. In fact, I'm not really that surprised by all of the exact rankings. I mean, especially with Allie and Sasha, granted, even to really help give them a boost, I gave all 10 of my online votes to them to really hopefully elevate, but apparently wasn't enough. And Kel and Whitney in second place, hours before the finale last night, I was starting to get a feeling that they were going to win, especially from having shared an item Joyce wrote, where Kenan Thompson, Kel's longtime friend and colleague, mentioned how much he was really rooting for him to win. And, I shared it to a couple of Facebook groups, including, I believe, a Nickelodeon Facebook fan group, and it got hundreds of likes. That's where I started to get a feeling he could do it, but that didn't end up happening, obviously. And Hannah Allen, well, yeah, I guess not really surprised at all, given really the fan base she had. And, she at least, I believe, got a perfect score for her final routine. So overall, I'd say Hannah Brown is an okay winner, but definitely better than Bobby Bones.
Yeah, I'd say this was a return to form in terms of, you had a winner who could dance. I would say I've been covering the show regularly since season 18, and Hannah is the weakest winner since then, besides Bobby Bones. She is miles ahead of Bobby Bones. but under the normal kind of metric of the show, she's probably the least consistent. Going into the season, you think like, oh, is that you're going to be your Mirrorball champion? It's kind of surprising.
Yeah, she didn't really I guess, I don't know. I think people have high expectations of her, and I feel like she just, she sets herself up, she went through a slump in the middle, and then she had that whole thing with Kare and, I don't know. But it was clear that she really struggled getting into character, and she did peak at the right time in her final 2 dances, so that's good. But yeah, up until her freestyle, she didn't really have a wow moment during the season like most people usually do.
Yeah, what's interesting about it, and it feels like it's been this way for the whole season, is that I look at the way they finished, and I feel like if the judges hadn't given any scores at all, we would have had almost the exact same results. I think the only thing the judges changed was that if Allie hadn't gotten the scores that she gotten, she would have finished 4th and Lauren would have finished 3rd, just purely on viewer votes, probably. So I think that's the only thing that changed. I think, looking at how it ended up, Hannah Brown had the 3rd best scores of the night. Kel Mitchell had the 2nd best, but Hannah won. Kel finished 2nd. Allie had the best scores but finished 3rd, and Lauren was the only one who matched her actual scores in terms of her finish. So I feel like really it just felt almost anticlimactic in the sense that the freestyles really, they're usually the most consequential thing. It's oh, a great freestyle could win you the Mirrorball trophy. I feel like the same thing was going to happen no matter what. Hannah Brown could have stood there and just been hi for a minute and a half and then won the Mirrorball trophy just because she already had the fans. And the fan votes have been so heavily weighted this season, I don't know if the weighting has changed, but this season we've certainly felt that weight a lot more strongly with Sean Spicer going as far as he did. Now, one thing I will note about the season-long scores, and this is a testament to how bonkers it is, when all is said and done, James Vanderbeek ended up with the 4th best judges score on average of the season.
And he had 2 fewer dances.
With 2 fewer dances, but it's bonkers because there's no one on earth who I think believes that James wasn't better dancer technically and performatively all season than Kel and then Hannah, but they both got higher season-long judges scores thanks in part to the night of 10s. Every you get a 10, you get a 10, everybody gets a 10 for their freestyles, almost everyone. So I just think, and I went back into season 18 because I was, Joyce, you always talk about how Charlie White got criminally underscored. He had the 3rd best scores of his season. So James Vanderbeek got a lot more harshly scored than even the patron saint of underscored dancers, Charlie White. So yeah, I really hope we get a redemption season of some kind where we can get both of them back.
Yeah, I feel like that's also a consequence of that the first half of the season, the judges just scored harsher, and then all of a sudden they just didn't care anymore.
Oh yeah, that's the interesting thing is from season 18, and I haven't checked other seasons, but I'm sure it will be similar. The top 4 highest scoring dancers of season 18 all scored better on average than everyone this season.
Oh yeah, and James only got 1 perfect score, so
yeah. Yeah. So talk about those freestyles. We had 4 freestyles from 4 finalists. I thought personally, we talked a little bit about Lauren's. I thought that was okay. I thought that was good, a good freestyle for her personality. It just wasn't super well danced. While
she
I think
walked
Hannah,
a lot of it, and then she sang.
She walked perfectly, though. She got perfect 10s. And then Hannah, I would say, I think Hannah's freestyle had the weakest choreography in the sense that I don't know. I couldn't quite feel myself what Alan was trying to get out of her in that routine or what he was trying to showcase about her. But I thought it was better danced than Lauren's and had fewer mistakes than Allie's.
That's all that matters.
I honestly thought I liked Allie's routine better on the whole, and I loved how ambitious it was.
But she messed up.
Yeah, I mean, Sasha is throwing this poor young woman through the air like a million times, and so I don't mind if the judges are like, everybody gets a 10 because, you know, this was such a showstopper and they're less sticklers for that. But in that case, Kel should have gotten that. Like that, getting that 9 from Len was just ridiculous.
Yeah, that was
arbitrary.
like, so stupid. And also, I understand like his criticism. I mean, Len has never liked hip hop in the first place, and I understand his criticism that it's like too similar to jazz, where you could do whatever you want, and that was their first dance. But just judge the dance by its own merits. Like, don't compare it to that other dance, because it'll be like if, you know, someone had a jive and then in like the dance off they also got the jive again. So you can't penalize them for getting assigned the same dance.
Yeah, and honestly, I sort of agree with Len that the dances were too similar. I don't think Kel ever became that versatile. Like he was always really good at hip hop and that kind of looser style, but he was never quite as good at like more ballroom styles. But honestly, it's the first dance scores that I would have had issue with. Like that first dance, that redo dance, did not deserve a 30, like at all. Especially when Hannah's first dance, which I thought was actually the best of round one, got like nitpicked like 9s and you know, and it's so weird. It's like you look at you know, Hannah, you know, and the judges can look at her and say like, oh, you were like 3 milliseconds off the beat, so I'm going to give you a 9 instead of a 10. But Allie can like fall out of a lift, and Kel can just be basically okay, and they both get straight 10s. So it really felt the scores were just all over the place. What did you think about the scoring, Jeffrey?
Well, I mean, I thought everyone for the most part got, you know, these fair enough scores. I mean, some I thought were definitely deserved, and some, well, I'm not sure 100% deserved, but, you know, I'd say they were good enough scores for what they did.
Yeah, a little too generous on all the perfect scores, but I feel like we kind of expected them, especially for the freestyles. I thought like Allie's jive was good, but I wouldn't have given it 30s. And yeah, I would have given Hannah a 30 for her Venus Waltz. Kel's jazz, I mean, like it's good, but like I can like, you know, take it or leave it with jazz and like whatever. So, but yeah, like I would have given the extra point for the freestyle, because it's just like, just judge the dance in front of you. Like stop like being a douche and like comparing it to the dance you did before. And like, but the entire time I was watching it, like he's a really good hip hop dancer, and like to your point, like yeah, like it would have been better had he shown his range and like done a ballroom dance for his first round. But there's also like them picking their favorite dance, and I understand why the jazz was his favorite dance. But yeah, when I was watching him do like the hip hop, and then it kept accelerating the tempo at the end, I was like, Allie would have like passed out by this point, because like she could barely get through her list. I was like, poor girl, like she did not have the endurance for that, and she got a perfect 30.
I was gonna say for the first round, I thought Allie's performance as well as Hannah's was one of their better performances all season. You could tell they just really just let go and just embrace the dance. Lauren, God bless her, but the dance style was just really boring, and the dance was just blah. They should have definitely picked something more up-tempo to fit her personality. And then with Kel's selection of the jazz routine, honestly, I just felt like with all 4, they should have given them new dance styles. But I just felt like Kel should have really went with either a ballroom or Latin, just to show like his ballroom growth throughout the season. And in terms of the freestyles, to me, they were a little lackluster. I mean, I've been watching the show since season 1. I mean, they were all right, but like Kel's hip hop routine, I've seen that numerous times with the numerous football players and, you know, the hip hop artists that have been in the finals. But I mean, Aaron just felt like it was groundbreaking, the best freestyle ever. And I'm like, you guys say that every season about the contestant.
No, every freestyle is the best one they've ever seen.
Yeah, exactly. Wonderful.
I have never seen that before in the history of Dancing with the Stars, except last season and the season before that, and also the season before that.
It's the best freestyle, even though you fell out of 2 lips. So
Exactly. So,
well, she said she's never seen anything like it, which might be true.
Yeah, Ali's freestyle was all right, minus the little botched lifts. Hannah's freestyle I thought was okay, but it was a little disjointed. Like it was just a lot going on. And Lauren's, I mean, you know, she just had a great time. So
it was a country line dance.
Exactly. You know, it's in her lane.
And what's interesting is that Lauren did the same thing as Kel, but better in terms of staying in her comfort zone, because she got 2 country dances. One was the Dolly Parton's Jolene, and the other one was the freestyle. But the 2 dances showed off completely different dance styles. So I feel like that's something Whitney probably should have pushed with Kel a little bit, although I don't think it would have been. I think he could have gotten that extra point from Len and still finished second to Hannah. It was always going to be what it was going to be. So,
yeah, I think like he probably would have or stood a better chance if it were still like a 2-night finale, because like his routine, especially being the last one, it's so infectious and crowd pleasing. Like that's definitely one of those freestyles, like especially back in the day where and like an underdog could pull through just because like people just want to see it and they fall in love with it and then they go vote. But I don't think like his fan base could match like that Bachelor Nation voting live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you know, next up for Hannah, interestingly, this turns out to have been just you know, the second act of her Bachelor journey soap opera thing. Because we saw, you know, they heavily previewed the next season of The Bachelorette, and Hannah will figure into it to some degree. Like, they're probably hyping it up. Like, maybe she shows up for an episode, I don't know, or she's in the whole season, who knows. But, you know, we saw a lot of Hannah, you know, kind of cozying back up with the guy she dumps in the new season where he's the Bachelor. So it made her most of this, because she would have filmed that already. So it made most of this journey where she's like the routine she's doing. It's like, I got my heart broken and all this sort of stuff. It made it feel like, I mean, all sort of the reality TV drama is manufactured to a certain extent, but even more so. Like, oh, you knew all of this in advance. And
well, I mean, like those promos are always like a bunch of misdirects. So I think she's probably just in there for like one episode just to make the other girls jealous, because the season filmed like this fall, like at the same time as the show. So I don't imagine she was able to go there a lot. Like I don't think she's part of the cast. I think she's just there to like make the other girls jealous, because that's totally something the show would do.
Oh God, I love the wholesome
I don't watch the show, but like a lot of my friends watch the show, and I like they have like people like from previous seasons come back all the time just to like be like, oh, take me back, and then like the person doesn't take them back or whatever, and then that's it.
What did you think about you know, the season-long Dancing with the Stars preview of the next season of The Bachelor, Cordell?
Well, I mean, I figured once they showed the preview of it that it was probably Hannah's to lose in terms of winning the mirror ball. Just like with Bobby Bones and the American Idol connection. I'm like, next season, whoever has the ABC connection definitely place your bet as them probably being the winner of Dance with the Stars.
Yeah. So it'll be like Dax Shepard from Bless This Mess or something.
Exactly.
What did you think about it, Jeffrey?
Well, I thought it seemed obvious that ABC would, of course, like to plug in one of their current flagship reality shows on another, so, hey, it's a business. And, well, yeah, and I guess that presence might have been what helped Hannah as well.
Yeah, so I do think that was a missed opportunity for Kel. He should have flirted with the new Bachelor in the new season, clearly. That would have gotten him so many more votes.
It is like so interesting how we all thought that Hannah would be like the production pet because of her ABC connection, and was actually Ali, who was like the judge's pet at the very least.
Yeah, Ali finished with the highest judges score of the season by like total points, 15 points. It was like wild how many more points she got than second place, which was Hannah. and third place Kel, which they were pretty even, second and third.
Yeah, that's insane. It's like they were just tossing out 30s like candy for her the last 2 weeks.
I loved Allie, and I think she
I like her too, but like she was overscored.
She belonged in, I think she deserved to be in the finale. I think she was certainly one of the best 4 dancers of the season. But I think what happened to her is that in the last few weeks, the judges were inflating her scores to keep her safe from Sean Spicer. And then they kept giving her inflated scores almost as if to justify the ones they'd already given. Like, well, we can't go back and say that she wasn't as good as we said she was. So, like, we just have to keep giving her 10s. So it's like they got locked into this kind of spiral of more 10s and more 10s.
Yeah, and like the other thing with it too is like they never really like criticized her at that point. Like they just kept showering her praise, whereas like they would still actually critique everyone else.
Yeah,
and very nitpicky too.
Yeah,
like Allie would like miss moves, and again, she would have. I think Allie's had the most difficult routines of the last 2 weeks, like her semifinal Charleston and her final freestyle. I think those were the hardest routines of the nights that she performed. So I don't even fault her for like missing a step here and there or like trying to get up.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just like they should point it out, especially if Kare Ann's going to point out Hannah's flub in her freestyle.
Yeah.
So speaking of things that could be better, other than everything, what should the show change for next season? Should it be back for another season, Joyce?
There's so many things. Well, with like, I don't think like the judging, scoring, voting system will ever be perfect. And I think like even though this season like Hannah won and she's a good dancer and she's not objectionable like Bobby, like her win still proves that like what happened last season wasn't really a fluke because it was like still the fans who carried her to that win. It wasn't the judges, because she still had the third high, even though like that spread was only 2 points between them. Like, yeah, she didn't have like the judges' support there. But I think if they're going to keep this voting system, they need to like implement like a 3 strikes and you're out for the judges. Like, if you're in the bottom 3 or bottom 2 3 times, like you just need to go because if they keep saying like it's still 50-50 between the judges and the fans, so. At like some point, you just have to take into account that people aren't voting for someone. like it's just like if you're not, then you just might as well give all the power to the judges, which is kind of what they want anyway.
Yeah, I think that they should just weigh the viewer votes differently, or just find some way to make it so that the viewer votes don't take over the show completely. And what they were doing with the bottom 2 thing was trying to create that balance, but then the judges took it over completely.
Yeah. Like they were trying to prevent like a like Juan Pablo from happening again.
Yeah.
And then everyone like Sean overshadowed that, and then they tried to like get rid of him by overscoring Allie, and then they couldn't stop.
Yeah. And then they ended up Juan Pabloing James Vanderbeek.
Yeah. Because they ignored that no one was voting for her.
So, what would you change, Cordell?
Oh boy, I would say that they should get rid of the non-traditional ballroom dances, like the jazz, contemporary. It's overdone. We already know what type of storyline and story they're going to present with those dances. They should just go back to basics with that. I love the judges save, but to Joyce's point, like after a while, if someone's not getting the votes, they're clearly not going to win. Like, just let them out of their misery and keep it moving, because I think also it affects that celebrities, momentum and drive, because if they are realizing like, wow, America really isn't supporting me, then what's the point of watching them dance when they're going to continuously beat that same narrative over and over and over, which Allie was doing. And it's like, just go out there and dance. Like, it is what it is. You've been in the bottom 2 week after week. And then I would say they should definitely let the shows have control of everything from the music selection, the choreography, and just the overall theme of each dance. I think we lost a lot of that this year. Maybe that's why there wasn't as many connections with the dances per se. But I think they should let them have the control back, so that way it can get back to its glory days.
And what do you think, Jeffrey? Anything you would change going into next year?
Well, I love Joyce's idea of having 3 strikes you're out. And as for my own ideas, I guess maybe it would be nice if they didn't get contestants from fellow ABC shows, which, obviously they try to plug and promote, and obviously viewers of the channel would obviously keep rooting for them. And I guess maybe also, people who are celebrities who are more equal in fan bases. That way, there's not one more obvious than another. They're a little more equal to make things a little more competitive from that perspective.
And I think one thing that we can probably all agree on, no matter what happens next season, what the scoring does, if voting is done with smoke signals or carrier pigeons or whatever, no more political contestants. No. Like, if anyone gets fired from the Trump administration between now and next season, including Donald Trump, do not cast them on this show.
No, they will just wait 2 more years before they reach out to Trump. So,
like, no John Jr., no Scaramucci, no Huckabee Sanders, none of them. And also, you know what? I don't want to seem like a hypocrite. Like, I could do without any, like, on the left side of the aisle too, we just don't need it. We don't, like, I don't want to have to spend most of the season talking about, like, a political backlash or MAGA or, the culture war. And it's like, no, just stop it. Tom Bergeron said, this is going to be exhausting, and he was absolutely right. And they should have listened to him. I don't know how many fans the show will get back next season. I don't think it will be very many if they pull a Spicer again. So just don't. Just don't.
Amen.
Yeah.
So with that, thank you everyone for joining me, Jeffrey, Joyce, Cordell, for joining me on coverage of this season of Dancing with the Stars, for better and for worse. And thank you everyone out there for watching. Dancing with the Stars is over, but you can predict a number of different reality shows at Gold Derby and, of course, Oscars, Grammys, Golden Globes, SAG Awards, and any number of things that we all also cover. So please join us for that, and we will see you next season, whenever that is. See you then.